I request all the dignitaries to occupy their seats on the dais. Sir. Yes, it is not according to the city. We generally our city. Okay. That's some. A very good morning to all to the August gathering in this academic festival. We are privileged to have Honorable Mr. Dinesh Banjari, President, Sri Santaji Shikshan Vikas Sanstha, Honorable Professor Dr. G. A. Ghanshyam, Honorable Dr. Abdul Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Honorable Dr. Vivekananda Natram, our respected Principal Dr. Priya Banjari Ma'am, Vice Principal Dr. Shrikant Pajankar. It has been a long nurtured dream of the principal of this college to organize an ICSSR sponsored national seminar, and finally her dream has come true today. The college has made an endeavor to organize this seminar on Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, that is 75 years of India's independence. And the theme that has been chosen is socio-cultural, economic and literary transformation during 75 years of India's independence. Now I request the cultural team of the college to present Sharda Sthavan. Thank you very much. Honorable Ram Manjari sir, Vice President of Sri Santaji Shikshan Vikas Sanstha, is on the dais now. Now we move towards the university song, and I request all the dignitaries and all the participants to rise for the attendance. Now we move towards the welcome ceremony. Atithi Devo Bhava has been the lifeline of Indian hospitality. Now I request Dr. Priya Banjari ma'am to offer a floral welcome to Honorable Mr. Dinesh Banjari, President of Santaji Shikshan Vikas Sanstha, who is present here as patron and inaugurator. For a floral welcome to Sri Banjari, Vice President of Santaji Shikshan Vikas Sanstha. I request Dr. Priya Banjari ma'am to offer a welcome Honorable Professor Dr. G.A. Ghanshyam, Professor of English and Officer of Social Duty at the Directorate of Higher Education, Chhattisgarh, Nagpur, Vishal Shrimal and Memento. I again request Mr. Dinesh Banjari to welcome Honorable Dr. Abdul Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Associate Professor, Department of English, Jawal Muhammad College, Tiruchirappalli, Vishal Shifal and Memento. I again invite Mr. Dinesh Banjari to welcome Honorable Dr. Vivekananda Nakram, Assistant Professor at Shyamlal College, University of Delhi, Vishal Shifal and Memento. I request Dr. Priya Banjari ma'am to offer him a book. Now I request Dr. Shrikant Sontakki, Head Department of History and Organizing Secretary, to offer floral welcome to Dr. Priya Banjari. I would like to invite Mr. Vijay Kandalkar, Head Department of Political Science and Organizing Secretary, to offer floral welcome to Dr. Shrikant Pajalkar, Vice Principal. I also extend a hearty welcome to all the respected participants, teachers and members of non-teaching staff. The college has faced the NAC peer team on 4th and 5th of January very recently. Again, the staff of the college is on the battlefield to organize this event. The leader of all these warriors is Dr. Priya Banjari, Principal of the college. She is also the convener of this seminar. I would like to invite Dr. Priya Banjari ma'am to deliver the introductory address.
Thank you, Dr. Nihal. A very good morning. With the blessings of Goddess Saraswati and Rashtra Sant Tukaji Maharaj, I, in the capacity of the principal, welcome all the participants, delegates, and guests to this important event today. A dream come true, as Nihal sir has said, that Santaji Mahavidyalaya, Shri Santaji Shikshan Vikas Sanstha is organizing a Indian Council of Social Science Research, ICSSR sponsored national seminar, which is by itself a very privileged event. Main speakers in today's program. First of, let me welcome our patron and chairman of Shri Santaji Shikshan Vikas Sanstha and president of today's program, Honorable Dinesh Vanzari sir, Honorable Ram Vanzari sir, Vice President, Honorable Professor G. A. Gresham sir, who is a friend and a keynote speaker of today's program, Honorable Dr. Abdul Ali Jinnah sir. Jinnah sir has been associated with this college in important events before also, and we are indeed privileged to have him with us today, not in an online mode, but in an offline mode. I remember when we had conducted trauma studies, sir's discourse was so helpful, and there were feedback specifically mentioning sir's information on trauma studies. Honorable, another guest of today's seminar, Honorable Dr. Vivekanand Natram sir. All these guests have been seen a very rich experience of guiding, of giving discourses, of actually dealing with what our today's topic is about. It is about the socio-cultural, economic, and literary transformation during 75 years of India's independence. As Dr. Nihal sir said, it was a dream come true. I would really admit. We had given one or two proposals to ICSSR. Something or the other cropped up. We never got a reply. We have given many proposals. And all of a sudden, in the midst of our preparation for NAC team, I got that shiny mail. Yes, you have been sanctioned. The amount or the sanction letter is of not much importance, but during this peer team visit, we realized the importance of getting sponsorship from a reputed and central institute like ICSSR. Again and again, they were into that, how much money you have got from sponsorship, how much money you could gather from such institutes, because we all know that UGC, which used to give this sponsorship, has stopped, has all of a sudden given away with all this sponsorship of seminar. Now they are still into that process. 2012 में वो आपने जो किया था ना मराठी का, उसका अभी आप पूरा सबमिट करिए. 2014 you had taken one physical education program. Please submit the details. UGC is still recovering from the amount of sponsorship. It can be any high-level decision. Nothing wrong against it. No bias. But what happens when we go and try to procure such scholarships, such sponsorship? It is indeed difficult. This topic was on 75 years, and on 75 years of independence, what better than all the social science department coming together under one ambit and trying to achieve what exactly we really wanted to. We had a discussion, Dr. Nihal and myself. So please accommodate the guests in front, participants. Dr. Nihal and myself, sir was insisting, madam, we'll also put English also into it. No? Because we are from the English department and we really wanted English to find its lawful place. And when the lawful place of English came, I said, sir, we'll take the charge of comparing, of giving the background. And of course, paper presentation should have an important aspect. That is what my request to sir was. And he agreed. Okay. He was very much into it. We should have English also. You are taking all social science. Let us take English because this topic itself has social, cultural, economic, and literary transformation. When it comes to literary transformation, English automatically comes because we have literary transformations in many languages, but English being the most important of them. So we had invited papers, we got a good response from our participants, and we are very happy that all the faculty members, we had kept it open, that all can participate. And we got a very good response from our participants. One more fact lies that during the pandemic, when an online mode was on, webinars were in vogue. What happened? People could access all the seminars, conferences, webinars from their laptop or from their cell phone. It was a convenient medium. It was indeed impactful. Of course, the direct access of the lectures, direct in your particular area of interest and in your comfort zone. But to wean out from that particular mode of online webinars and come offline, I think we are the first. Many have not started yet in being in offline mode. They couldn't gather that courage or gather that initiative. Instead of courage, I'll say that initiative of conducting an seminar on such a national platform in an offline. So I would like to first welcome all our participants, our keynote speakers, our speakers for today's technical sessions, and also extend a very warm thanks that they have taken out their valuable time and accepted our request for an offline mode. Many speakers still insist, madam, you can continue with their online lecture now, please. We will log in through our online mode. Many still insist, but we are very much thankful that all three speakers of today's national seminar have agreed, Ghanshyam sir, Vivekanand sir, and of course Jinnah sir, to go for an offline mode. I think that many participants will benefited from this discourse, from this interaction and this transformations, deliberations, which will go throughout the day. My best wishes to all, directly or indirectly, related with it, because I would fail in my duty if I don't mention the name of Kandalkar sir from Political Science, so Dr. Sondakke sir from History, Department of History, and of course Vatpore sir from Department of Economics, who made this dream come into a reality. Thank you very much.
Honorable Mr. Dinesh Jivanjari, President Shri Santaji Shikshan Vikas Sanstha Nagpur, is the source of strength for all of us. His motivation, guidance, and leadership has provided direction to the institution. He is also the patron and inaugurator of this seminar. I would like to invite him to deliver the inaugural address.
Santaji Mahavidyalaya. ICSS are sponsored social, cultural, economic, and literary transformation. या विषयावर या ठिकाणी आज आपण हिंदी में बोलू समझती हिंदी भी अच्छी बोलते हो, लेकिन भाषण मैंने कभी हिंदी में दिया नहीं और अंग्रेजी में आती है, लेकिन भाषण मैंने वैसे अपने वो सब्जेक्ट ये क्लियर करने के लिए तो इस विषय पर आज चर्चा करने के लिए जो गेस्ट आए हैं, जो इस विषय पर एक अहम चर्चा होगी, वो ऑनरेबल प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर जी घनश्याम जी, डॉक्टर अब्दुल मोहम्मद अली जिना जी, ऑनरेबल डॉक्टर विवेकानंद नाथराम जी, महाविद्यालय के प्राचार्य डॉक्टर प्रिया बंजारी, डॉक्टर श्रीकांत पाजनकर, संस्था के उपाध्यक्ष राम बंजारी, सर, ऑर्गेनाइजर और आप सभी महाविद्यालय के प्राचार्यगण और यहाँ पे बाहर से पार्टिसिपेंट्स आए हैं, मैं सभी लोगों का यहाँ पर स्वागत करता हूँ। हालांकि ये जो विषय है, ये विषय हम ये जानना चाहते हैं, भारत का हर नागरिक ये जानना चाहता है कि हमारा देश जो इस पृथ्वी के धरती पर है, उसकी शुरुआत कहाँ से। हालांकि हमने रामायण पढ़ी है, महाभारत पढ़ी है, सुनी, लेकिन हमको ये अच्छी तरीके से मालूम है कि अशोक सम्राट थे, यहाँ के राजा, इस पृथ्वी पर राजा, धरती पर राजा। वहां से हम लोग इस धरती पर जो जो हुआ वो हमको मालूम है। सम्राट अशोक थे, वो एक उत्तम शासक थे। उन्होंने एक उत्तम तरीके से अपना राज्य चलाया, अपने राज्य की निर्मित की। उनके वक्त अफगानिस्तान, बांग्लादेश, पाकिस्तान, ये पूरा जो प्रदेश था, ये उनके अंडर में। उन्होंने एक अच्छी शिक्षा के लिए अच्छा प्रयोजन किया था। जो हम लोग देखते हैं ना आजकल रास्ते, ये वो फुटपाथ और साइड में झाड़, वो उस वक्त अशोक सम्राट के कार्यकाल में था। हमने सुना है, हमको मालूम है कि हमारा भारत देश एक वक्त सोने की चिड़िया हुआ करती थी, यहाँ से सोने का धुआं निकल रहा था, ऐसा हमने सुना है। वो अशोक सम्राट के ही कार्यकाल में था। अशोक सम्राट के जो अशोक चक्र है, वो वहीं से आया है, जो हमारे तिरंगे पर जो त्रिमूर्ति शेर का जो चिन्ह है, जो आज हम प्रशासकीय एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव शासकीय चिन्ह करके यूज करते हैं, वो अशोक सम्राट अशोक ने ही बनाया था। इस तरीके से ये प्रदेश, ये धरती पर ये राजाओं का धरती ऐसे हमने सुना है। और फिर ये सोने की चिड़िया और ये सोने का धुआं निकलने वाली धरती पर अनेक विदेशियों ने आक्रमण किया और यहाँ से हर चीज लूटी गई। कुछ यहीं बस गए, कुछ लूट के चले गए। और वो जो धुआं निकलना, वो सोने की चिड़िया, वो एक तरीके से गायब। उसके बाद इस धरती पर मैं तो धरती बोलूंगा क्योंकि तब ये देश था। ब्रिटिशर्स आए, 200 साल इस धरती पर राज किया। उन्होंने जितना लूटना था उतना लूटा, हमको गुलाम किया, हमको गुलामों जैसा रखा। और फिर हमें महसूस हुआ कि हम गुलाम हैं। हम इस धरती पर रहते हैं, लेकिन हमारा यहाँ कुछ नहीं। उसके लिए एक बड़ा आंदोलन हुआ। वो आंदोलन स्वतंत्र के लिए था। और 200 साल के बाद 15 अगस्त 1947 में हमारा देश आजाद हुआ। और आज 75 साल हो गए आजादी को मिलने के बाद। और विषय यही है, ये 75 साल में हमारा देश किस तरीके से, किस मोड़ पे कैसे डेवलप हुआ। इस देश के पहले पंतप्रधान पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू थे। वो एक विजनरी आदमी, विजनरी नेता थे। उनको स्टेटमैन कहा जाता था। और वो स्टेटमैन इसलिए कहा जाता था पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू को कि पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने सारी दुनिया का भ्रमण उस वक्त किया था। दुनिया के बड़े बड़े नेताओं के साथ उनकी उठक बैठक थी, चर्चा थी, पॉलिटिकली थी, कल्चर थी, एजुकेशन के बारे में थी। और पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू का एक सपना था, एक आधुनिक भारत बनाने का। उन्होंने अपनी किताबों में डिस्कवरी ऑफ इंडिया में इसका जिक्र किया है कि भारत कैसे होना चाहिए। तो उस वक्त भारत बहुत कंगाल था, यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं बनता था, सुई तक नहीं बनती थी। ऐसे देश को मॉडर्न देश कैसे बनाया जाए, ये पंडित नेहरू की सोच थी। पंडित नेहरू ने यहाँ पर नवरत्न की निर्मित की, जो कि वो किसी भी तरीके से मोनोपली इस देश में किसी के हाथ में न जाए। तो उन्होंने नवरत्न की निर्मित की। उस नवरत्न कंपनियों को ही देश के ही लोग चलाएंगे, ऐसा उनकी दृष्टि थी, और उन्होंने वो किया। इस देश को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए उन्होंने बड़े बड़े डैम किए, जैसे भाखरा नगर डैम है। ऐसे कई चीजें उन्होंने की, एजुकेशन में बहुत डेवलपमेंट। उसके बाद में शास्त्री जी आए, उन्होंने शेतकरी और सेना के लिए एक अच्छा काम भी किया, लेकिन उनका जो कार्यकाल था। उसके बाद में इस देश की प्राइम मिनिस्टर इंदिरा गांधी को कहा ही जाता है आयर एक मजबूत और वेल शासक लेडी थी, जिसने ये देश को पालने का, संभालने का अच्छे तरीके से काम किया। जो शोषण होता था समाज में लोगों का, शेतकरी का, मजदूरों का, उस शोषण को रोकने के लिए उन्होंने नेशनलाइजेशन स्कीम तहत सारी जो बैंकें थी उसको नेशनलाइज किया, और इस देश को उन्होंने भी आगे बढ़ाने के लिए बड़ा प्रयास किया। उनके शासक काल में जैसे इस देश में और ज्यादा प्रोडक्शन और बहुत सारी चीजें होने की बहुत सी संभावना उन्होंने कोशिश की, लेकिन एक मॉडर्न तरीके से हमारा देश कैसे आगे बढ़े इस तरीके से सोचने वाले इसके बाद जो लोग आए, जैसे उसके शासन में संजय गांधी जी थे, वो पंतप्रधान नहीं थे, लेकिन उन्होंने ऑटोमोबाइलाइजेशन में एक बहुत बड़ी क्रांति की इस देश में। इस देश में पहले हमको मालूम है यहाँ एक एम्बेसडर और फिएट के अलावा और एक है 2 स्कूटर, इसके अलावा कुछ था ही नहीं। तो संजय गांधी ने मारुति उद्योग स्थापन किया यहाँ पर, और यहाँ के लोगों को बड़ी सस्ती कार 60,000 में मारुति की कार लॉन्च की, और उन्होंने ये सोचा यहाँ के सर्वसामान्य गरीब लोगों को ये सुविधा मिलनी चाहिए, और ऑटोमोबाइल क्षेत्र में बड़ी क्रांति हुई। आज जो हम सड़कों पे जो गाड़ियां देखते हैं वो उनकी देन। उसके बाद में इस देश में राजीव गांधी पंतप्रधान। राजीव गांधी ने कंप्यूटराइजेशन में बड़ी क्रांति, तब बड़ा हो हल्ला हुआ था, विरोधक ने आंदोलन करना शुरू किया, इससे तो नौकरियां जाएगी लोगों की, ऐसे कैसे होगा कि हम नौकरी छीने लोगों की। लेकिन आज हम देख रहे हैं कि उस कंप्यूटराइजेशन का उन्होंने जो इस देश में क्रांति की, ये सब लाया, उसका फायदा आज क्या हो रहा है। जब अमेरिका में सुपर कंप्यूटर की निर्मित हो रही थी, और तब वहां उस वक्त के प्रेसिडेंट ने सारे देश के पंतप्रधान को बुलाया था कि हम सुपर कंप्यूटर बना रहे हैं, तब राजीव गांधी को भी इन्विटेशन था, वो गए थे, और उन्होंने जब बोला कि हम ये टेक्नोलॉजी हमको दीजिए आप, तब उन्होंने मना किया, आपको हम टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं देंगे, आपको खरीदना पड़ेगा, और ये बहुत महंगा है। राजीव गांधी निराश होकर वहां से हिंदुस्तान लौटे, और उसके बाद उन्होंने यहाँ के साइंटिस्ट लोगों की मीटिंग बुलाई। अपने यहाँ के साइंटिस्ट है यवतमाल डिस्ट्रिक्ट में भटकर से उन्होंने उनको बुलाया, और उन्होंने कहा कि ऐसा अमेरिका में हो रहा है और ये टेक्नोलॉजी हमको चाहिए, क्या हम इसको बना सकते, हम अपना सुपर कंप्यूटर तैयार कर सकते। तो सब शांत हो गए कि ये कैसे पॉसिबल। तब विजय भटकर ने उठकर कहा कि सर, मैं ये कर सकता हूँ, मैं ये बना सकता हूँ। अमेरिका में ये बनाने के लिए जितना समय लगेगा उससे कम समय, और हमको जो टेक्नोलॉजी खरीदने के लिए जितने पैसे लगेंगे उससे कम डॉलर में मैं ये सुपर कंप्यूटर बनाता हूँ। और विजय भटकर ने ये सुपर कंप्यूटर बनाया, और आज हमारे हिंदुस्तान में हम लोग जो इसमें है उस घर पे वो राजीव गांधी की थे। उसके बाद में मनमोहन सिंह जी आए, उन्होंने अर्थ तज्ञ थे वो, उन्होंने आर्थिक दृष्टिकोण से इस भारत में बड़ा चेंज लाया। रिसेशन में उन्होंने देश को बड़े अच्छे तरीके से संभाला, आपको सबको मालूम। और आज हम देख रहे हैं 2014 से हमारे भारत के पंतप्रधान माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी, ये भी एक बहुत अच्छा और बढ़िया काम कर रहे हैं। आज वो आत्मनिर्भर भारत, मेक इन इंडिया और डिजिटल इंडिया, इनमें बहुत बढ़िया और उच्च दर्जे का जो ग्लोबलाइजेशन में जो अमेरिका में होता है, जो उत्तर विकसित देशों में जो काम होता है इसमें, वो नरेंद्र मोदी जी यहाँ ला रहे हैं और कर रहे हैं। और उसमें हमारे इसमें काफी चेंज आता है, थोड़ी तकलीफ होती है, लेकिन हम लोग उसमें सुधर रहे हैं और उस चीज को, उस टेक्नोलॉजी को अपना कर इस देश को हम लोग एक साथ दे रहे हैं, विकसित कर रहे हैं। इस तरीके से हमारा देश का विकास हुआ, आगे बढ़ते गए और हम सब लोगों को उम्मीद है कि हमारा देश और आगे बढ़ेगा और जितने भी विकसित देश है उसके लाइन में हम जाके बैठेंगे। आज खैर मैं तो ये थोड़ा सा ऐसे ही बोल दिया, मुझे ये सब्जेक्ट के बारे में जो डेप्थ में और चर्चा हुई इस सत्र में, इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में, आज यहाँ पे गेस्ट है, उनसे और भी करेंगे कि किस तरीके से हम यहाँ तक पहुंचे। मैं यहीं पे रुकता हूँ क्योंकि इनको भी समय देना है और मैं ये घोषित करता हूँ कि इस सेमिनार का उद्घाटन हो गया है।
Thank you very much, sir. With this, the formal inauguration ceremony comes to an end. And now we move towards the keynote address to be delivered by Honorable Professor G.A. Ghanshyam. Sir. I take this opportunity to introduce Professor G.A. Ghanshyam. He is Professor of English and Officer on Special Duty at the Directorate of Higher Education, Chhattisgarh, Raipur. He has 96 research papers published in the international and national journals and has published 14 books to his credit. He has guided PhDs, 7 PhD and 3 MPhil scholars. He was awarded associateship by Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, Shimla. He is the Fellow of Royal Asiatic Society of Great Britain and Ireland, Fellow of Guild of Independent Scholars, International University of Humanities and Social Sciences, Costa Rica. He has delivered 96 talks as resource person. Now he is the in-charge officer of the state level quality assurance cell of Chhattisgarh State. He is the founder of Indian Society for the Promotion of English Language and Literature, an international forum of English education and literature. We are indeed blessed to have Honorable Professor G.A. Ghanshyam to deliver the keynote address. I request him to deliver his address on transformation in Indian phases of Indian life after independence. Dr. Ghanshyam.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nihal. Indeed, it's a pleasure and honor to be here in front of you all. And I could see that all of you are not only tired, but you have even done a wonderful job of not only welcoming the NAC peer team to your college, but at the same time, as we are celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, you are waiting for the Amrit to be given by NAC on Tuesday. So it's always the saying goes like this: coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress and working together is success. So you are waiting for the success, which is going to be on the day of Tuesday. You will be having your results declared with the grade and CGPA. So that's why this is in continuation with that. And this shows how the institution is progressing towards quality, how the institution is redefining quality. Just after the accreditation process comes to an end, the college has taken up another quality initiative of organizing this kind of an event, and that was sponsored by ICSSR. For that, I should always thank the institution and also congratulate the institution, not only to keeping the institution on its toes, but at the same time bringing all the academia together here on this particular theme, which is related with transformation. It's always a proud moment for me to welcome the President, Mr. Dinesh Vanjari, the Vice President, Ram Vanjari, the Principal of this prestigious college, Dr. Priya Vanjari, and all the people, those who are associated in organizing this particular event, with my esteemed friend, Dr. Nihal Sheikh, and all the participants and fellow resource persons and all the official staff. India has seen a drastic change just after the independence. It was not that India was not a well-known country in the world. India was well-known. Even if you go to the Vedas, all the Vedas are very popular as far as the Western countries are concerned. Even if you see various examples in Western countries of the world, you will find that all the Indian Vedas and Upanishads, they have a greater impact on all those Western philosophers. And whenever we receive those Western philosophies in India, we do tend to go into the Vedas and we find that all those philosophies and all those concepts, whatever they are saying, they are taken from this Aryavarta or this Bharat Khande or this Bharatvarshe. So this Bharatvarshe, Bharat Khande, Jambudvipe was the source of light. Even the days immemorial to us, we were having all these things from India. But later on, as the transformation came, we started forgetting our own people. We started forgetting everything, forgetting something new, forgetting something from the Western countries. We started forgetting people. That's why forget is forgetting something or forgetting something. So forgetting something, we started forgetting our own people. Now we are going back to our own roots. Now we understood one thing, that transformation has taken us to the trance, but there is no formation. There is no reformation. We are living in the trance, keeping our memories back to the ages, saying that we represent the country wherein India was called as the snake charmer's country. The country wherein people were illiterate. The country wherein people were not having the knowledge of anything. The country wherein people were not civilized. What kind of a civilization we are looking at? Are we looking at the civilization which is there in the Western countries? Are we looking at the civilization which is there, which is inherited in us, or which is inside us? What kind of a civilization? When the entire world is facing software and hardware, where is the humanware? And India was the country which was completely devoted to the humanware. Though the Western countries were enjoying the software and hardware, but India was the country which was enjoying the humanware. And where is that? Still we are finding that. And thanks to Corona, which has brought this humanware together. Thanks to Corona, which has brought families together. Thanks to Corona, which has made all the people join together. And we have forgotten everything. We started enjoying the atmosphere within the family, within the home. Though we were isolated, but that isolation has given us new kind of an entity, new kind of an identity, what we were searching for long. And that has taken place. So that's why change is inevitable. But what kind of a change is inevitable? What kind of a change we want to see in ourselves? Is the change like the ring supreme? Safedi ki chamkar? No. The change has to pass in. The change should not go from the right or the left or in the front or at the back. The change has to be within. And from where the motivation will come? The motivation is always motive aviation. The aviation motive is always there. We want to go high. We want to go higher. And that's why there has to be a change. There has to be a transformation. But the transformation has to be in the form of a metamorphosis of a larva into a butterfly. Because if you see the larva, you never identified this butterfly has been made because of this larva. So the metamorphosis of a larva into a butterfly is the real transformation which India needs and which India wants. So we need to understand the local first and then think of the global. So think locally and act globally. That has to be the concept of the Indian subcontinent. It's not thinking globally and acting locally. That's the thing. But we have forgotten that. And that transformation we haven't seen in various aspects of our life. For years together, we are moving ahead and we are progressing ahead and we are just running. It's a kind of a rat race which we are doing and we are reaching the target, but there is no one to clap for us. We have forgotten all the people, those who have left behind, and we do not have a single person who can go with us. So what kind of a transformation we need to see in ourselves? Was not there a transformation in the rishis and munis? Though they were living in the Himalayas, though they were living far off in the places, but they had a kind of a transformation with the help of which they have changed the entire society. And this was there in India long back also. And that's why Nia people, he says, life is a moving and breathing thing. We have to be willing to constantly evolve. Perfection, constant transformation. So perfection is constant transformation. We need to involve the people to evolve something. Until and unless we involve people, we cannot evolve anything. And that's what NAC also says. The students' participation has to be there. And students' participation is involving the students and then evolving out of the students. So that's why when we think of involving the people together, when we think of involving the society together, when we think of involving the community together, then there has to be a change. And the change which we have seen, not only in one particular field, but we have seen changes in several fields of the country. And we must thank the Britishers also, though they have made us gulams, but those gulams have learned English and then they have given a kind of an echo to the Britishers to leave the country. We learned English from them and we defeated them with the English. And that's why Indian English now is much better than the British English. And we have that. English came to us like the flutter of the butterfly. But even the Britishers haven't thought of this flutter of the butterfly will convert into a huge hurricane, which we did. And we believe in ourselves that what English we have received has been customized by the Indians, and that's why we created another kind of an English which is known as Indian English. And we have not only modified it, but we have given various words to English, and that's why which dictionary is the best dictionary in the world? People say the best dictionary in the world is still in the press, which hasn't come out. Because the moment it comes out, there are so many new words which are coming out, and that's why Oxford Dictionary says the new edition, because so many words are being added into it. So that's the transformation which is going on. And the transformation has to be there in every language. Even if you speak your own mother tongue, for example, Marathi, you are unable to speak Marathi without using a single word of English in sentence. So English has not only gone deep into our roots, it's flowing with our blood. It's coming out with the voice or the sound we make. What we inhale, that comes out. So that's why English is in the air and everywhere. And that's why Raja Rao said, English is not a foreign language to us. It has become our own entity. It's our language. So that change we have seen. We have seen even the changes in food also. We never thought of, just think of the food and the food will be delivered within half an hour to you. And that's why Swiggy came. And that's why Zomato came. See the transformation. Whatever you want to have, even you want to have very good rasam in your home, you can order. And the transformation is there. And people are running, people are rushing to deliver you those things. This is a kind of a transformation wherein even in the nook and corner of the country, if you are sitting, the transformation in the process of food industry has taken a greater role. The transformation of the people in that way that they need to be very healthy has taken roots during the corona. And we started drinking all the stuffs related to Ayurveda. We were believing in allopathic, but we started using Ayurveda to the core. And we have taken ginger, which we haven't taken for the years together. Within 2-3 months, we have consumed entire ginger, and ginger was out of sale in the market. See the transformation which is having. Even in food habits also, we started using the kadha. We never dreamt of having tulsi patta with ginger and also various other stuffs which are known as the spices. The spices started dominating us. There is a transformation in every home. There is a transformation in food also. The same thing happened. Not only in food, but also in education. India, which was known as the land of Gurukuls, India, which was known as the land of the teachers, wherein the disciples used to sit and they used to study in the company of the Guru. That Gurukul has completely changed. Now we have the Western concept, convent educated people. And the convent educated people, they are forgetting everything, and we started concentrating only on the IQs, not on any of the quotients. Until today, we are concentrating only on the IQs, and we are asking the students, what's your percentage? Is it 99 or 95 or 100? Like that we are using. So on the basis of our percentage, on the basis of the marks, we are evaluating our students, and that's why the suicidal tendency is increasing. What kind of a transformation we are looking at? There is a pressure inside. There is a pressure from the parents. There is a pressure from the peers. There is a pressure from the teachers. There is a pressure from the society. And what kind of a pressure the student is going to tolerate? All the parents, all the teachers, all the family members, they are looking to the student like the student is going to evolve in such a great way, and the student will bloom with all the petals open. And such kind of a pressure is there. What kind of a transformation we are looking at the students? And that's why, being the teachers, you must understand there is a transformation of the students only when you touch the students. And if you do not touch the students, there will be no transformation at all. And that's why in touch, you take out T. What remains is out. And that T is teacher. And that T is mother. And that T is father. And that's why we say Matra Devo Bhava, Pitra Devo Bhava. And then comes Guru Devo. That touch is required. Even in this highly technological world of ours, the touch has to be there. The human touch has to be there. And that's the real transformation we are looking at. Over the years, after independence, we have seen a greater vision of India. India is a developing country, and we want India to be a developed country in terms of materialistic things. But what in terms of the emotional transformation, in terms of psychological transformation, in terms of religious transformation, in terms of social transformation, where are these? Are we heading towards only intelligent quotient or artificial intelligence? Are we not looking at the emotional quotient, the psychological quotient, the religious quotient? If a student wants to bloom, not only the intelligent quotient which is going to affect him, but the student can evolve himself only with the help of emotional, social, religious, and psychological quotients, which we social quotient, the religious quotient, and the chotu, whom we say in Hindi, तो किसी काम का नहीं है, क्योंकि तेरा पढ़ाई लिखाई में दिमाग लगता नहीं है, और तू क्या कर लेगा? That chotu is highly beneficial for us. Whenever we want to go for a cylinder, chotu comes. Whenever we want to go to buy vegetable, chotu comes with the bag. Not your son, not your daughter, not other people. Those who are studying and those who are acquiring 90-95% marks. But that chotu comes. That chotu, which is of no use, useless fellow, has become useful fellow for us. So that's the basic transformation which we want to look at the society, not only with the society, but also with the people. So that kind of a transformation has to be there. But as far as science and technology is concerned, we are saying that in science and technology, India is progressing like anything. And India is going to beat the developed countries of the world like America, Britain, France, and whatnot. But India was the most developed country even when even the Britishers or even the Western countries, they do not have the clock to put on. And India was a much civilized country in the Vedic period also. And that's why Indian life is fully scientific. Whatever we do, whatever practices we do, as far as our old practices are concerned, they are highly scientific. Whenever we come from outside, there is a bucket which is kept outside with a mug and water. We want to wash our hands and put there. And the same thing we practice during coronas. See how the things are changing. We are saying that we are quite civilized, but we haven't been civilized. We have adopted and we have crammed and we are only following the footprints of the Western countries, thinking they are civilized people. They are the people whom we have to look at, but we have forgotten our own roots. We have forgotten our own culture. And all these scientific technologies, all these things, whatever we're looking at, go back to Bhaskar, go back to Aryabhat, go back to Ramanujan. The kind of people we had in India, that kind of people were not there in the Western countries of the world. And during that time, there was no Nobel Prize to be given to these scientists of Indian tradition. Those who have done everything in a systematic way, even Panini for that reason. There is not a single person who can come and stand in front of Panini or in front of Aryabhat or in front of Bhaskar or in front of any of the people or any of the scientists. But with all these things, the transformation has been of such a process, wherein if you go back to Mr. Banjari was talking about Ramayana and Mahabharata, during that time in Ramayana, Ravan had a Pushpak Viman. So that concept of Pushpak Viman has gone to the Wright brothers later on. So India was a country, not of that kind of a transformation we are looking at, but India was a country wherein transformation was there in the blood. Transformation was there in the water. We were transferring everything. Even the Gurukul system, even in this era, we want that Gurukul system has to be there. And that's why even whatever practices you have done during the NAC in all the 7 criteria, there in NAC also it says there has to be a coordination, collaboration, cooperation of the teacher with the student. And that's why the criteria wherein students are there you have the maximum number of marks. Take criteria 2, teaching, learning, evaluation, teaching of the student, learning of the students, evaluation of the students, 350 marks. Take student support and progression. Whose support? Student support. Whose progression? Students progression. 130 marks. Combine both. You will get 480 marks out of 1000. So only 2 criteria are covering 480 marks. So there has to be a transformation among the students. There has to be a transformation within the higher education institutions. So we need to understand one particular point there also, that we need to go back to the roots. And that's what NEP 2020 also says. That Indian education system, Indian knowledge system has to be brought again. And we have forgotten all the dialects which we were using. In Maharashtra, there were so many dialects. Even I come from Chhattisgarh, there were nearly 36 dialects. And now we do not have all those dialects because that was the oral tradition and we have lost everything out of it. Even in the radio, there was a song like Baas Geet, the song of the bamboo, with the bamboo instrument they used to sing. And there is not a single person now who can play the bamboo. So what kind of a transformation we are looking at? Are we really civilized people in that way? And if we come to literature, our own literature was such a sound literature that even everything was there in our literature. But we started looking at Shakespeare. We started looking at various other people from the Western countries, and we started Kalidasa as the Shakespeare of India. Why can't we call Shakespeare as the Kalidasa of the Western world? That's the basic thing we need to understand. That's the real transformation. Indians are not the people, those who have been kept as slaves for years together. We were slaves, but our minds were not slaves. And that's what Britishers wanted. They wanted us to be slave not only from the body, but also from the mind also. But the mind is independent. We need to come out of the comfort zone and we need to make an effort to transform ourselves. We were in the trance when we started learning English. And when we learned English, we said we are at trance now. and nobody can beat us, nobody can even command us, and we are the superior people. But very inferior kind of a thing has completely collapsed our egos and brought us to the earth and said, you are nothing. The transformation, the real transformation has to be in terms of every aspect of life. And that every aspect of life is the holistic development of an individual. And that's why there is a transformation, not only from the big three like Rajarao, R.K. Narayan and Mulkrajanand, but the transformation has been brought by Rajarao during that time by combining the coinages of Indian words with English. And the same thing has been done by Mulkrajanand also. And later on, many of these people, they started using all those things. For that reason, Salman Rushdie, he brought chutnification of the things, chutnifying the thing together. And all these coinages have not only brought India to the limelight, but at the same time, it made the entire world to understand the treasure which is there in India. And there were mentors also. Though our whatever we were having, though that was raw, that was not polished, but later on, when it was polished, it was seen with limelight. Like when Rabindranath Tagore has written Gitanjali, it was completely raw. He went to W.B. Yeats to show him Gitanjali, and he refined it, and then the entire history changed. He got the Nobel Prize for that. The same kind of a mathematics was there with Ramanujan, and Hardy has refined it, and Ramanujan, he has gone to achieve success from there. So that kind of a refinement has to be there, and that refinement is the real transformation of an individual. And that's the transformation of the society also. In terms of science and technology, in terms of food, in terms of literature, and also in terms of our own quality of life. We started thinking with a goal of being the global citizen. We are talking about 21st century skills. We are talking about interpersonal, intrapersonal skills, body language, communication, whatnot we are talking about. But where is the communication from the within? Where is the communication of the you with the you inside? And that's why there is a tussle between the heart and the mind, because the you and the you are not collaborating with each other. The moment we understand the you in you, then there is no tussle, there is a fusion. And that fusion could be seen even in music also. Example, Hariharan and his friend, they have completely fusioned one particular song of Lord Krishna. So that Leslie and Hariharan's fusion into the music, that same fusion could be seen even in the paintings also. Raja Ravi Verma's painting was entirely different, but there was also a fusion of the painting when you see the paintings of M.F. Hussain, who has taken the modern art together and he has completely transformed the painting into a greater extent. And nowadays, you will find the painting in the form of mandala art. So entire fusion is coming up now. Not only the fusion is there in terms of the half girlfriend or in terms of any other novel written by Chetan Bhagat, but the transformation is in terms of your own way of thinking, our own way of thinking. Now we are collaborating together the modern approach with the approach we were having in the past. Now we are going from the Gurukulam to the curriculum. And there has to be a drastic change. There has to be a leap from Gurukulam to curriculum. The same thing which was practiced in the Gurukulam has to lead to the curriculum also. And then the curriculum has to be changed. And that's what in NEP 2020 also the government has brought this, that Indian knowledge system, the Indian literature, the Indian languages, and the basic things which were there in India has to be brought to the focus, and the people and the teachers and the students and the stakeholders must understand it, and then the real transformation of India will come. It's not the India for the Westerners to look at India in that way, but it's the complete Bharat. We need to understand the Bharat, and Bharat for me is Bhar Liya Hua Rath. It's a Rath, it's a chariot, which has ample of knowledge, in it, which has ample of various things in it. You may call it education, you may call it philosophy, you may call it psychology, you may call it food, you may call it medicine, whatnot. And the plastic surgery, what we are witnessing nowadays, was long back practiced by Sushruta. And Sushruta was the first person who has done the plastic surgery in the world. And India was the pioneer in terms of plastic surgery also. And now the transformation has come up to a greater extent. Without having any tools, if Sushruta can do it in India, then what the scientists are doing later on. Even we have never thought of that this kind of a surgery could be done during the time of Sushruta. But even today also we go to the Vaidya. Maybe in the rural village, we may not be going to the doctors, those who are MBBS or MDR, super specialists. But we are going to the Vaidya because we say that even the bone is being damaged, that Vaidya has something which could be done. He can do wonders with us. So we are going to that. Means we are once again going back to our roots. And that's the basic transformation which we require. Until and unless we go back to our roots, we cannot have the wings. So the wings could be given only by the roots. And roots are the basic things which we need to understand as far as transformation is concerned. Transformation is not in terms of having very good cloths or quality cloths. Transformation is in terms of quality ideas. Idea generation has to be there. And those ideas which were there or which are there or which we really want to evolve, all those ideas should be the transformation, not only for the individual, not only for one particular institution, one particular state, but those ideas must transfer from one particular person to the entire state, entire country, and the entire country has to be there. So nation first should be the real transformation. It's not I be the first, or my institution will be the first, or my state will be the first. Nation first is the prime motto of every transformation. If you go to Swaminathan's Green Revolution, it has completely changed the scenario of agricultural things in India. And he has drastically changed everything, high-yielding crops for brought in. But what happened later on? Later on there was drought. Later on there were the farmers, they started suicide. And later on, various manures have been used and they started developing various kinds of diseases because of those fertilizers. And now the real transformation has come in the form of organic fertilizers. We are using organic kheti, we are using. And every product, whatever we are using now, it has come to the organic form. Means once again, we are going back to the roots again. We are calling ourselves as the civilized people, but we are going to the same roots from where we started our journey. We have come back. And that transformation you can see even in the people, those who have done MBA from ABC schools, and in the people, those who have done IITs from various institutions, they too are going back to the fields and they have become the entrepreneurs, or they have started the startups. They are not working in the corporate sector, but they are going back to their own roots. They have become the farmers even after doing the MBA and IITs. After studying in all the prestigious institutions, why are they going back? They have understood the reality of life. That's the real transformation which has brought them back to their roots. And that's why all the people, those who work in the multinational companies, we ask them, what's your package? And what's the package is all about? Even work from home is making them to understand one thing, that they are working more than the office in the home. They are working for 18 to 20 hours in home, and all the office expenditures are brought to zero now. There is no particular office. Your room becomes your office. And they are earning for what? And when are they going to spend it? And for whom they are going to spend it? So is that transformation we wanted in our country? Is that the transformation we wanted in our students or in our children? Is that the transformation you are looking at in terms of materialistic things? We people, we have been transformed to a greater extent by saying, I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. That's my one account. My second account starts from 5,001. And all the people, they give wishes and wishes and wishes and wishes and likes and likes and likes. Because Facebook doesn't have dislike. That's why there is only like. and you can comment, but there is no dislike in Facebook. And we are the people, those who are having 10,000 friends on Facebook, but our relationship with our neighbor is not seen. We do not have a communion with our neighbor. So if that communion is not there, then what's the use of having the Facebook? Where is your face? And who is going to book your face? Instagram, instantly we are posting the photos on that. And where is the real photo of our own people there? So all these technologies, they are making you the real slaves, nothing else. Britishers have not made us slaves. This WhatsApp, this Facebook, this Instagram, all these are making slaves. And when we go to spend holidays with our family members, all the family members are sitting together, but every individual is looking at their cell phone. And if the cell phone doesn't ring, if the message doesn't come, you look at whether the network is there or not. Because for 5 minutes you cannot stay or stand still without the cell phone. So cell phone has become a kind of a transformation. Even anything can be lost, but the cell phone must not be lost. At the cost of cell phone, I can sell everything, but the cell phone has to be there. See the transformation. Your cell phone will not work even for 2 years because there is a new model which comes out and your cell phone goes out of order and you cannot repair it. You need to sell it back or you need to throw it. So is that transformation? It's once again taking a lot of amount of yours and it has made you slave like anything. And every message is being transported to you. The moment you visit any other place and you come back to your home, suppose you stay at that particular place, the Google asks you. So everywhere you are being tracked. Even if you visit any of the shop, another message will come. Every individual has your number and you are so worried about all these things that you reach home and then the feedback comes. How was our service? Kindly rate us. So are you the machine of this technological advancement of the human race? Are we the human beings? We are born human beings, but there is a long gap between human beings and being human. So we need to become being human than human beings. And that's the transformation which is required. And if that transformation is there from human being to being human, that's the real transformation which we are looking at. And that's why the Western countries, they started looking back to India once again. They started looking back to the customs, tradition, culture of India once again. And they started emulating all those things of the Indian subcontinent in their own countries. And they have understood this particular fact that India was a country which was highly scientific and every rituals, whatever you practice back at home was fully scientific. You analyze any of it and you will find all the scientific knowledge was there only in that country. And that's why when Max Muller came to India, the German, he learned Sanskrit in Banaras and he wrote, "What can India teach us?" And in that he says, if you encounter any problem anywhere in the world, you will find the answer to every problem of the world only and only and only in India. So whatever problems, whatever consequences you come across, maybe in the field of medicine, maybe in the field of science and technology, maybe in the field of education, maybe in the field of culture, maybe in the field of food, everything is there. And Indian food, Indian spices, they are luring the people. They are ruling the people. Not only luring, but at the same time, they are ruling the people also. And that's why this kind of a transformation we want to see. We want to see the psychological transformation. We want to see the emotional transformation. We want to see the religious transformation. We want to see the social transformation of the country. After independence, after 75 years of independence, we have acquired so many things. Materialistically, our quality of life has increased to a greater extent. Previously, we had one bicycle or one scooter. Now we have so many two-wheelers, and not even two-wheelers, but we have four-wheelers to the one or two, not maybe three. If four of them are earning, four of them are having the four-wheelers, but there is no parking facility which is available. We keep it on the road because we do not have the space. That kind of a materialistic things are being increased. But what about the psychological aspect of it? And that's why we need to once again understand this transformation, which has brought the economic transformation in the country, which has brought the social transformation in the country, which has brought agricultural transformation in the country, which has brought literary transformation in the country, which has brought various other transformation in the country to the cost of what? It's not to be on the cost of losing the people, but it has to be to the cost of encouraging people, energizing people, motivating people, empowering people. And the transformation, the real transformation is only when you empower people. When you make them to understand that you have the ability to do everything and anything in this world. The moment you make them to understand that, that's the real transformation which we have to see. And that's why there was a beautiful film of Shah Rukh Khan, Main Hoon Na. Every teacher, if the teacher goes and puts the hand on the shoulder of the student saying, Main Hoon Na, and see the student jumping like anything. And that's the real transformation. Those students, they really want the care and the love of the teacher. They want the care and love of the parents. Even the parents are not loving them. Even the parents have given them a kind of a task, and we challenge them. If you score 90%, then only you will get bicycle, otherwise not. So there is a kind of a trade and commerce which goes in the house. So you start bribing your own sons or daughters. You're bribing them. If you acquire 95%, then I'll give you a cell phone, otherwise not. So is that percentage the child is going to bring? Are we going to understand that? Have we brought all those percentages when we were students? Definitely not. Then how can you expect your own son and your own daughter, which is the byproduct of yours, will be scoring 95%? When the real product hasn't scored that much of marks. So is that transformation we are looking at? Nowadays, the students are very fast. They have gone way ahead of us. We cannot beat them. But what they need is, they need a caring hand. They need a caring mind. They need a caring soul. And that soul is necessary for every individual. And every individual means not only our own children or our students. I'm talking about every citizen of the country needs that. If you respect one particular person, the moment you respect him, you will get the respect in turn. And that's why we say, give respect and then take respect. We need to respect the individual. Though we have lots and lots of differences, but all the differences are to be respected. And in Hindi, we always say, मतभेद होने चाहिए, लेकिन मनभेद नहीं होना चाहिए. और जब मतभेद होते हैं, तब उन्नति और तरक्की होती है. लेकिन जब मनभेद होता है, तो केवल और केवल अवनति होती है. So we must not be that kind of a person wherein if the differences are there, if the person is criticizing me, then I must not take that person. No, that should not be there. Because Kabir was there in this land who said, Nindak niyere rakhiye angan kuti chalaye. And when Einstein invented E is equal to mc square, people asked him, Einstein, how could you do this? He said, all the credit goes to my critics. Those who said, Einstein, you cannot do it. And I did it. And that's why the credit goes to the critics. And that's why Kabir said, Nindak niyere rakhiye angan kuti chalaye. So all those people, those who are criticizing us, must be kept in the pocket, because they are the people, those who show you the road, those who make you to glow and flow. And that's the essence of critics. And that's why whenever the transformation, if you want to see, there was a beautiful picture which I have seen. A cat was looking at the mirror. And every day we get up and look at the mirror, what we see? We see our own face. The next day, if you see the mirror, what you see? Your own face. But the cat has seen a tiger in the mirror. That's the real transformation. If you see what you want to become, what you wanted to be in the mirror, that's the real transformation which has to come from within. And that's why it's being said, you are what you think. And whatever you think, even if you think I'm quite capable, you are capable. If you think you are incapable, you are incapable, because whatever you think, you are the product of your own thinking. And even thinking requires take out T, what remains is ink. So the moment you think, there is an ink to write your thinking. And that's why we started writing all these things. And that kind of a transformation has to be there in everywhere in the society, not only in terms of the literate or illiterate people, whom we call illiterate people, they are quite literate than us. If you sit in front of your own grandfather, though you have 2 PhDs, but your grandfather is a metric failed person, he has ample of knowledge than your 2 PhDs. So that transformation we need to bring in. And that's what the education is. And education is not acquiring the degree, but for me, education is educate the nation. That's the real education. Education itself is educate the nation. The moment we educate even a single person, we are educating the nation, because that particular person is the citizen of the country and we are educating that person. And we all are in the process of educating ourselves. And that's why someone has said, you cannot teach anyone in this world. You can create only the atmosphere of learning. And being the teachers, we cannot say we are the teachers, because whatever you know, that may be the wrong thing. Or whatever you know may be very less in front of Dr. Google and Professor Wikipedia. Whatever knowledge you have, the students will Google and they say, sir, whatever you are saying is absolutely wrong, sir, or whatever you are saying is absolutely less, sir. This has given this much of information in Professor Google and Dr. Wikipedia, and where are you, sir? So what about technologies? What about artificial intelligence then? Everything is there. Artificial intelligence is there. Intelligent quotient is there. But one thing, all these things will never ever replace the teacher, because all these technologies have only intelligent quotient and artificial intelligence, but the teacher has the emotional quotient, the social quotient, the religious quotient, the psychological quotient, which these technologies will never have. And that's why the teachers cannot be replaced. But having said that, we need to update ourselves. We need to upgrade ourselves. We need to uplift ourselves so that we can uphold the education. Until and unless we upgrade, update, and uplift ourselves, we cannot update, upgrade, and uplift the students. All the time we say, "Arey Google कर लो सब मिल जाएगा." अरे उसको Google ही करना है तो हम किस मर्ज की दवा? Even the teachers say, "अरे project Google कर लो मिल जाएगा," and the parents are running in the market to have the projects and Googling everything. If the Google has to do everything, then where is the parents and where are the teachers? We need to understand that. We need to give the particular URL to the students to understand that. And that makes the entire transformation as far as our country is concerned. And sir was talking about Rajiv Gandhiji's computer. I am reminded of Sam Pitroda. He was the real person with Rajiv Gandhi who has brought revolution in India with the computers. And even the banks, they started saying, we will give you the golden shake hand. If you want to work with the computer, you will be there in the bank. And if you are not going to work with the computer, there is a golden shake hand, take the money and go back to your home. But even the 58 years old, 55 years old person started learning computer, and see the technology now. We have only the plastic money with us. We don't carry the notes with us. We carry only the plastic money with us, the ATM card or the credit card. The technology has changed to a greater extent. The moment it has changed, you will find frauds are flowing like anything. And every day you get a call. Right? The moment you are changing, you are transforming, the other person is also transforming himself or herself to meet your challenges. And that's why what we need to understand is we need to challenge the challenge. If these challenges are coming up in the form of transformation of the materialistic kind of an attitude, then we must challenge all this materialistic attitude and make it a kind of an attitude wherein human beings are of prime importance, not any other thing in this world. And that's why when Alexander died, he kept his hands out of his coffin, saying, even the great Alexander, when he left the world, he has gone bare hands. Absolutely without having nothing in his hand. And that's why when we take birth, we always come to this earth with the fist closed like this. But when we go out of the world, we leave everything, whatever we have brought, and we go empty handed. That's the real transformation which is needed. Whatever you have, you need to give it back to the society. That's the real transformation. Sir, right? Okay. So that's the real transformation which you wanted to see. And that's the basic thing. And that's why even I reminded of Robert Frost, who has said in Road Not Taken, I'm telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverge in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. We are not supposed to take the road which has been taken by some other person. And not only that particular road which has been taken by very few people, but we are the people who can make our own roads. So we need to create our own way, maybe in terms of whatever we have. Even if we have the culture with us, even if we have the tradition with us, even the traditions are being changed. Nowadays, entire corporate has come up in the form of making you to understand everything in their own concept, in their own terminology. If you are celebrating Deepavali, your Deepavali is being captured by the corporate sector. So whatever you are using, that has been given by the corporate people. And even nowadays, gone are the days when even in the parties we have our friends standing at the back of the food counter and they were serving. Nowadays we have the event managers. Every event is being taken care by them. Whatever you say, everything will be available. You just need to give the money to them and everything will come. Even the bride and bridegroom will also come. So they can manage even that also. We have gone to a greater extent of transforming our things. And we feel very happy that we need not do anything. Just dress up and go to the marriage function and you start enjoying like anything. Nowadays, this marriage function have become the event kind of a management. And all the people, they are dancing with the bride, bridegroom, parents, whatnot. Everyone is dancing and everyone is enjoying. It has become a kind of a corporate kind of a structure. Even the rituals have completely been modernized nowadays. And it has been taken care by the event managers. So everything is being managed. That's what I said. Is that the transformation we wanted? Our minds are being managed by the computers. The computer or the cell phone which we have created, and this cell phone which we call it as smartphone, this has become smart. I haven't said that. So is that smartness we need? And even the smart says, every individual has the art. And when the individual has the art, the individual can go to the mark and he can become the smart. Smart itself says, take out S, what remains is mart, and take out M, what remains is art. Every individual has an art. And every individual who has the art has proved himself or herself during Corona. Those who have lost jobs, they found Facebook or some other link as the useful link, even the YouTube, and they started showing their art. And now they are earning huge amount of money with the help of that. And Corona has proved a kind of a boon for them. It started giving them back the roti and dal which they required. And now they have the four-wheelers in their home. So this is the real transformation wherein the individual has realized the art within himself. And that's why we need to understand the skill which is there inside ourselves. And if you do not have the skill, take out S, what remains is B. And take out K, what remains is A. We are ill, that's why we are being killed, because we do not have the skills. So that's very important. And that's why the students are being killed, because they feel as if they are ill because they do not have the skill. Even right now, I think 1 month back you have read in Kota, 2 of the students, they committed suicide. And Kota has become a kind of an industry to produce the IITians and whatnot. All the medical staff and all the people are being produced in Kota, and Kota has become the PowerPoint for India. Is that the PowerPoint for India? Do you really look at the transformation in terms of the country as far as the IIMs and IITs are concerned? There only the transformation will happen. No, not at all. Even in the nook and corners of the villages, even in the urban areas, even in the rural areas, even the tribal areas, the innovation is there. And that's why NAC looks at innovation. In the third criteria, it says research, innovation, and extension. That innovation has to be there. And innovation, every word, whatever you take out of I, may it be innovation, may it be, for example, interest, may it be inculcation, may it be any other thing. Everything is within. So the motivation is also within. Interest is within. Inculcation is within. Incubation is within. And Mac looks at incubation. And where is the incubation? Incubation is within only. If you know the art of yours, if you know the skill of yours, the incubation center is within. And it can be established in any of the colleges. That's the real transformation we are looking at. And NAC says, I really disagree with NAC in this particular aspect, that do you have a language lab? Do you think you need to learn a language in the language lab? Or have we learned the language in the language labs? Not at all. The beautiful lab wherein we learn the language is the society. And society is the biggest language lab in the world. You can understand people, you can see their pronunciation, you can see their gesture, you can see their posture, you can see everything of the individual when he speaks or when he walks. But the rotten kind of a language, or the language which is a kind of a mimicry kind of a language you can learn with the help of the softwares and the hardwares, but not with the real human beings. In the real human beings, when the language is being used, it is used with emotion. But as far as the language labs are concerned, there is only motion, but there is no emotion. So that transformation has to be there. So that real India, what Arvind Adiga has said in his White Tiger, what are we looking at? Are we looking at the villages of India? And India is a country which is known of the villages, and villages have made this country. And that's why this nation is a nation of all the villages. So it's a bright India or it's a dark India. The darker side of India is in the urban areas, and the brighter side of India is in the rural areas where you have ample of ideas germinating, but they do not find the light of the day. So we, being the people who are the bridge between the urban and the rural, must understand this kind of a transformation in the country, wherein the rural or the tribal areas are to be brought to the focus. And we call them as marginalized people, thinking ourselves as we are the center, we are in the nucleus. And if you go back to them and if you ask them, they say we are in the mainstream and you are the marginalized person. If you read Arun Joshi's The Strange Fear of Billy Biswas, Billy Biswas has come from Kolkata and he came with his team and he met the tribals in Bastar, and he was so acquainted with those tribals, he got settled in tribals, and he said, I will not come to your civilized city because this primitive culture is much more better than the culture of the civilized world, wherein you do not have contact with the people, and here the people, even if for one particular reason, all the community, they come together, and that's the community development which is there in the primitive culture, which is not there in the civilized culture. I want this community to be there. And he started living with them. And when the people from his family, they come and they want to take Billy back, he said, I will not come to your society because my society is the purest kind of a society and your society is adulterated kind of a society. And I will not come to your society. And they tried their level best to take him. He said, I will not come. If I will come, only my body will come, but I will not come. And at the last, they shoot him. And he died. And his body went back to the civilized world from the primitive world. So in every individual, the Indianness is there. That Indianness, that identity of the land, the identity of our own mother tongue, that has to be there. And that's why I always tell my students the transformation in this way. There was a beautiful film of Rahul Roy, Ashiki, right? A beautiful song was there. Nazar ke samne, jigar ke paas koi rehta hai wo ho tum. And who is that? Mother tongue. Nazar ke samne, jigar ke paas, always it's mother tongue. That's the L1. And then came another movie, Ashiki 2, in which there was a beautiful song. हम तेरे बिन रह नहीं सकते, तेरे बिना क्या वजूद मेरा. किसके बिना नहीं रह सकते? इंग्लिश के बिना. किसके बिना वजूद नहीं? इंग्लिश के बिना. लैंग्वेज नंबर 2. So Ashiki is mother tongue. Ashiki 2 is that's the transformation. So every individual must understand this, that there is a mother tongue inside, and we must not learn any language of the world to the cost of the mother tongue. The mother tongue has to be protected, it has to be taken care of, and when someone speaks in his mother tongue, the entire liberty must be given to the person to speak in his mother tongue. And if the person is not speaking it in his mother tongue, then understand one thing: he is not going to respect his mother, he is not going to respect his motherland. And that's the beauty of mother tongue. And that's the real transformation. And nowadays, people, if you ask 78, 79, 80, or 76, 77, 78, 79, which is bigger, they will say. But 77, 78, 69 में कौन सा बड़ा है? 69. 77, 78, 69. What is 69? So that kind of transformation we want to see in our own students. They are not even able to speak fully in English or fully in Hindi. They mix it like anything. And that code switching, mixing and switching, that has become a kind of an entity which has become such a kind of an easy thing that every individual is doing that. And we celebrate Hindi Divas on 14th September. And we call all the people, those who sit here and they speak in, you call it English, I call it Ingreji. It's Ingreji, Hindi and Angreji. It's not English, but it's Ingreji, which hinders our progress. So every mother tongue or every language of the world enjoys and it feels respect when it comes out of your mouth without being adulterated. That transformation is required in the country. यदि आप हिंदी बोल रहे हैं तो शुद्ध हिंदी में बोलिए. हमारे बच्चे ऐसे बोल नहीं पाते. हमारे बच्चे कहते हैं मम्मी मैं जा रहा हूँ, कॉलेज होने वाला है, इंग्लिश के टीचर आएंगे, वो लेसन पढ़ाएंगे, लेसन के बाद टेस्ट होगा, टेस्ट के बाद नंबर देंगे, उसके बाद बताएंगे पास होगा कि फेल होगा, और उसके बाद मैं आपको आके बताऊंगा कि मेरा रिजल्ट क्या हुआ. कोई बच्चा नहीं बोलता कि माँ मैं महाविद्यालय जा रहा हूँ, अंग्रेजी का काल होगा, अंग्रेजी का अध्यापक आएंगे, वो स्मार्ट बनाएंगे, उसके बाद परीक्षा होगा, परीक्षा का परिणाम आएगा, और उसके बाद अंक बताएंगे, अंक बताने के बाद मैं आपको आके कहूंगा कि मैं उत्तीर्ण हुआ कि अनुत्तीर्ण. Like this, that's what we have to make the students, and that's why we say communication skills. And if you do not have this kind of a communication, then it definitely kills, because you do not have the skills. That's why we say we need to learn the soft skills, which appears to be very soft, but it's very hard to learn. And that's why it is called as soft skills. So we need that. So that kind of a transformation is really needed. And after this 75 years of independence, we need that real transformation, not in terms of the materialistic transformation, but in terms of the psychological, the religious, the social transformation, and the real transformation of the individual from human being to being human is required. Thank you very much for listening to me for such a long time. And for the institution for giving me the opportunity. I really thank all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. After this enlightening speech, I request Dr. Swati Garu to propose the formal vote of thanks. But all the participants are requested to note that soon after this formal vote of thanks, there will be plenary session 1 in which Dr. Abdul Muhammad Ali Jinnah will guide us. So kindly remain seated.
Thank you, sir. Thank you may be a very small word, but it means a lot. Today, I feel privileged to have the opportunity to propose the formal vote of thanks. First and foremost, I thank Honorable Shri Santaji sir, President Shri Santaji Shikshan Vikas Sansthan for gracing the occasion with his presence. He is also the patron and inaugurator of this event. I also thank Sri Ramanandari sir, Vice President, Sri Santaji Mahavidyalaya for his presence here. I extend heartfelt thanks to our principal, Dr. Priyanandari ma'am, for her constant support and guidance. I thank Honorable Governor Sri Ekhan sir, Professor of English and Officer on Special Duty at the Directorate of Higher Education, Chhattisgarh, for being here on this occasion and being keynote speaker. I thank him for enlightening us for about our country from the times we were. His insistence on the importance of positive transformation is true in all sense. It was really a sir. I also thank Dr. Abdul Muhammad Ali Jinnah sir for his research